Hello, my name is Adrienne. I will now be presenting my mythology honors project. For my project, I decided to do an analysis of different artworks and depictions of Hercules throughout the ages, and what that means for Hercules, and why the artist depicted Hercules this way given context. So, first, I have got this statue called Farnese Hercules. Farnese is like another word for diplomat. This was made by Glycon of Athens, roughly around 216 AD. It is a very large marble statue, roughly 10.5 feet large, which could perhaps be signalizing that Hercules was larger than life or a character that we need to be looking up to. In the statue, we see Hercules donned with his famous lion's cloak and his club, and then behind his back he is holding the apples of Hesperides. This statue features Hercules in some of his famous feats, which could be to establish him as a hero. However, most notably famous about this statue is that Hercules is not sharing his usual expression. Usually in artwork, Hercules is this confident, almost boastful, outward character. And in this art, we see him looking sad. He's got downcast eyes and a sort of closed off body language, not very opening or welcome. This sadness of this sculpture is why it is also called the Wary Hercules. It is common thought that he's so sad in the sculpture because he is exhausted from his labors, and ready to move on in life from being the famous Hercules. Next, we have this statue, Hercules in Caucasus, made by, pardon my pronunciation, Baccio Bandinelli. There's a fun story behind this artwork, but it took roughly 9 years to make. It started in 1525 and was completed in 1534. The statue made of marble is 16.5 feet large. Fun story behind the statue is it was commissioned for Michelangelo, and he was told to make David. However, there was a delay in the marble arriving, and there was a war at the time, and so their rulers were different. Ultimately, there were struggles with like the size of the piece of marble. There was a whole big deal. But by the time the marble arrived, it was roughly 1520, and it was given to Bandinelli. And they still wanted it to feature a sort of symbol of the Republic, as they wanted with the David one. However, Bandinelli did this Hercules statue featuring him taking down Caucasus, the fire-breathing monster. And this was made to highlight Hercules' physical strength, and it is believed that it is supposed to be a juxtaposition and show contrast between Hercules' physical strength and David's spiritual strength. So it's still a nice symbol to the Republic, and it is currently being held at the, again, pardon my pronunciation, Palazzo Vecchio in Florence, Italy. And then we have this painting called Hercules and the Hydra. We see here Hercules and his club taking down the Hydra. One of his most famous labors, and it's like a darker image, almost violent. It is painted by the Spanish artist Francisco de Zurban, and it took roughly a year from 1634 to 1635 to paint. It is currently held at the Prado Museum in Madrid. And it is actually part of a 10-piece series of Hercules, all depicting his famous 12 labors, only 10. But it was painted in the palace for the Spanish monarch because Hercules was viewed as a big key character in the development of Spain and like the founding of Spain. He was viewed to have found A Coruña and Barcelona, and he brought a large population over. So he's highly respected in Spanish royalty, and it kind of like makes you. It kind of brings to thought what Spanish royalty views as power, because here we see Hercules as like almost violent, but he's still the good in the picture. He is the central character, and he is the light of the picture, but he's still committing. It's very kind of brutal, the image. And then we have this picture, the apotheosis of Hercules. Apotheosis is when a human undergoes a transformation into a god or spiritual being. This was painted by Francois Lemon, a French painter. Took around 5 years to complete, from 1731 to 1736. It is now located at the Palace of Versailles. It is a very bright painting. It's made to draw your attention towards the middle, where we see the gods in Olympus. And the contrast between what we normally see as like Earth is kind of dark, as we had seen with this last painting. Earth is kind of dark, it's kind of brutal. And then in this painting we see lightness as the gods. It's supposed to make you recognize them as a divinity and as like the good in the world. This painting is made to symbolize that hard work and persistence, or through hard work and persistence, the gods will return kind favors if you continue to be faithful to them. Hercules, while he had just seen all of his family and loved ones died, he remained faithful to the gods, and through his death, the gods turned him into a divinity. This is a common theme we see in religion, where if you murder your family, as gods have asked, you'll be rewarded, or if you suffer through these hard times, but remain faithful, you'll be rewarded, because it's like a true test of your faith. So that's kind of what this painting is for. It is meant to demonstrate the importance of faith and the purity of the gods. And then here we have Hercules and the Lernaean Hydra. This is painted by French artist Gustave Moreau, painted from 1875 to 1876. It is currently held in the Art Institute of Chicago. Moreau did a lot of background research on this battle between Hercules and the Hydra. He really wanted to depict a proper historically accurate painting, which is why it's very grotesque and you see blood and bodies all over the place. It's supposed to kind of show that Hercules is like the best of the best, while all these other people have tried and failed. The evil Hydra had conquered, but Hercules is standing tall and brave here. Despite being human, he was able to defeat the Hydra. But what does the painting mean? Historical context for the painting is that France was just going through a war, the Prussian War. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But France had just been defeated, ending the French domination in that area. And so it's supposed to be where Hercules is kind of representing France and the Hydra is representing Prussia. like a good versus evil. Although Morrow had never stated that, that is what common belief is. And it's supposed to not bring hope, but kind of like a sense of patriotism towards your country. So what does this all tell us about Hercules as a symbol? Hercules is commonly portrayed as this strong, brave character. He's often seen portraying in hopes to devote a sense of patriotism for a country. He's meant to be respected. He, while brutally strong, he is more than just that. He's a diplomat. He provides good things for different countries. And also Hercules remains faithful to the gods and is a servant for them, and he was rewarded by the gods. So Hercules, strong character, highly respected, often the good guy in all of this art.